What's happening, news nerds? Back for some more news, are we, you cheeky little devils? This week in news starts now. Bump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers. According to Zero Hedge and the New York Times, a New York Times report has claimed that 48% of MTA bus riders failed to pay their fares. MTA officials have mainly focused on the subway, and that's where they've been deploying police and security to enforce their fares. But in data taken from early 2024, nearly half of bus riders evaded fares. That's compared to 14% on the subway, even though subway ridership is twice as high. And according to a 2023 report, the MTA has lost $315 million from bus riders and $285 million from subway riders in 2022. I dread to think what that figure is in 2024. David R. Jones, an MTA board member, said, "In the public's mind, they don't see the bus system as a real source of fare evasion. We have to get people to recognise that it is no longer acceptable." Not only that, drivers are increasingly afraid to collect fares due to violence. And bus driver Robert Freeman said, "First and foremost, I avoid all confrontation. I just concentrate on driving and I don't say nothing. It's either that or I get stabbed." So basically, there's no consequences if you don't pay. It's like when you see an honesty box next to a nice farm. You instantly think, wow, that guy's going to lose a lot of produce today. Is anyone else getting Oliver Twist vibes? According to BBC, workers who leave the head office to buy a cup of coffee are costing an Australian miming firm too much money. This is according to its boss, who looks like a thumb. Managing Director of Mineral Resources Chris Ellison said during a financial results presentation on Wednesday that he wants to hold staff captive all day long, and further said, "I don't want them leaving the building." To be fair though, the head office in Perth has a restaurant, 9 staff psychologists, a gym, and other facilities designed to encourage staff to stay in the office. Mr. Ellison said, "We have a lot of different benefits that we've brought on, although you can't ever work from home." He further said, "Why have I done that? Because I want to get them first thing in the morning. I want to hold them captive all day long. I don't want them leaving the building. I don't want them walking down the road for a cup of coffee. We kind of figured out a few years ago how much that costs." And he said the rest of the mining industry should get on board with this thinking on the benefits of working in the office rather than at home. In my opinion, this next statement is bollocks. The industry cannot afford it. We can't have people working 3 days a week and picking up a 5 days a week pay for 4 days. This Dickensian workhouse, though, at least does have some childcare for 105 children. Mr. Ellison said, "It's another reason for them to come in and enjoy work." That will never happen, brother. Sounds like another business gimp stuck in the past. I think people forget one crucial thing. Whether you work from home or not, you're only ever going to get exactly what you pay for nowadays. And an hour commute ain't going to make you work any harder. Do you think your job notices if you exist? According to 13 News or KOL.com, KOL 13 News, KOL 13 News, a Wells Fargo employee in Arizona was found dead at her desk 4 days after she clocked in. No foul play is suspected, but other bank employees are wondering why it took so long for someone to find her. And police in Tempe said a 60-year-old Denise Prudhomme clocked into work at 7 a.m. on Friday, August 16th. A colleague then found her dead at her desk in a cubicle the following Tuesday. An employee who spoke with KPNX said Prudhomme's cubicle was on the 3rd floor and away from the main aisle. The employee, who did not want to be named, said several people had smelled a foul odour but passed it off as faulty plumbing. The employee further said that while most Wells Fargo employees at the Tempe location work from home, the building has 24/7 security, and that someone should have found Prudhomme sooner. Another worker said the situation was just uncomfortable, and is calling on Wells Fargo to do more. She said the body was there for about 4 days before anybody found it, before anybody walked up to her just to say hi and make sure she's okay. She was just lying on her desk, and a Wells Fargo spokesperson said in a statement, "We're deeply saddened by the tragic loss of our colleague and our Tempe office." What? And that counsellors, through our employee assistance consulting service, are available to support employees. An employee said management did offer those services and told workers that the building was thoroughly cleaned. Ugh, 4-day-old dead people. Don't come for me, internet, I know someone's died, but I'm fairly sure there are a lot of people out there that are just ballast in a business, or have such an insignificant role you wouldn't notice it not getting done. To me though, that's the dream. Getting paid for not doing a single thing. Just like the average politician. It's a real sport, mate. It's toe joke. According to the BBC, an international toe wrestling competition returns to Derbyshire for its 50th year. People competing will have come from as far away as the US, China and India, and organisers of the event say that the sport, which was founded in a pub in the 1970s, is like arm wrestling, but with feet. Two contestants battle on a special podium with two walls either side by locking toes and trying to push their rival's foot or toe to the opposite wall. Reigning men's champion Ben Woodruff from Fenny Bentley in Derbyshire is taking part for the 15th time as he seeks to win his third golden toe. Also known as Total Destruction class, Mr. Woodruff started toe wrestling at the age of 14 and has been competing for more than 20 years. But he further said Alan Nasty Nash has come out of retirement and has 17 champion title wins under his socks, so it's going to be tough this year. However, I'm confident and my toes feel seriously strong after a strict regime of fortifying oat drink, foot baths and toe deadlifts. The female champion, Lisa Twinkle Toes Shenton from Ashbourne, will also be defending her title in the female division. The winner receives a bronze cast trophy in the shape of a foot, with 500 quid each going to the champions of the men and women's categories. All contestants do go through inspection beforehand, where referees check there are no infections, verrucas or warts. Unfortunately though, if you're watching this on Monday, you've already missed it. I'm all for interest in sport. I was at the Eastern European lingerie oil boxing the other week, but the problem with this to me is the feet issue. No championship, no prize, no river or valley high or low enough respectfully is enough to touch another man's foot with mine. I'd rather defecate on my hands and clap for Liz Truss. Voiture, gargouillis, hamac, banane. According to Yahoo News, a New Zealand man has won the French language Scrabble Championship despite not speaking French. Nigel Richards triumphed over Shilek Legao Rakau from the French-speaking country of Gabon. This was in the final, which was held in Louvain in Belgium. Richard's friend Liz Fagerlund, are these real names, former president of the New Zealand Scrabble Association, revealed that he's been studying the language closely for approximately 8 weeks in preparation. She said he doesn't speak French at all, he just learnt the words. He won't know what they mean, wouldn't be able to carry out a conversation in French, I wouldn't think. Richards, originally from Christchurch, is the 3 times World Scrabble Championship winner and now lives in Malaysia, and Richards' French-speaking rivals would probably know what they were letting themselves in for. And while his mate Liz does confirm that he has a reputation for being the best Scrabble player ever, the French probably didn't expect him to go in for the first time and beat them at their own game. That must be a kick in the teeth for the French. Not only are they not the best at making cheese, Wensleydale and Cranberry come fight me now, but now they're getting rinsed by a New Zealand bloke with only the knowledge of the French dictionary. What next? The British taking away their crown of most protests in 1 year? She's old. I want the new model. According to USA Today, an Indiana man has admitted to putting a poisonous off-white powdery substance into his wife's Coca-Cola so he could kill her and marry her daughter. Indiana court records show Alfred Ruff, 71, pleaded guilty to aggravated battery in July for trying to poison his wife. He was sentenced on Monday to 4 years in prison and 5 years probation. Ruff told officers in January 2022 that he had been spiking his wife's drinks over the last few months with a substance given to him by his wife's daughter. This was according to an affidavit obtained by USA Today. Ruff's wife, who called the Wayne County Sheriff's Department and told them about her husband's actions, gave the responding deputy a pill bottle that contained the unknown powdery substance. She also gave the deputy a Coca-Cola aluminium can that she drank and cut open, and at the bottom of the can was an off-white residue. Another deputy took Ruff's wife to the hospital where she tested positive for having MDMA, cocaine and benzodiazepines. And when deputies interviewed then 69-year-old Ruff at the sheriff's office in 2022, hold on, he told them that he was sexually involved with his wife's 31-year-old daughter from a previous marriage. He then explained that the wife's daughter gave him the pill bottle with the powdery substance in 2021 and instructed him to put it in her mother's drink. But the guy is the only person charged in connection with the crimes. Ruff told deputies that the drug cocktail would make his wife go to sleep for about 13 hours or so. He also confessed that he put the drugs in the drink to eventually kill her. This guy got 4 years in prison. The daughter and her female friend, would call and tell Ruff to give drugs to his wife. Once his wife was asleep, her daughter and her daughter's friend would put on a show for him. The show involved two women putting on Ruff's wife's negligees and performing sex acts with each other. Ruff also told authorities that whilst he was having sex with his wife's daughter or her friend, one of the women would steal some of his wife's personal items. He also admitted to paying the women to perform the sex acts. The victim's daughter told Ruff that she wanted to get Mom out of the picture once she found out that they were selling their home. The victim's daughter also mentioned a life insurance policy to Ruff that her mother had in place. But Ruff came clean to his wife because he felt bad. He also detailed taking his wife to hospital 6 times due to the symptoms she was having from the drug cocktail, including bad headaches, drowsiness, diarrhea, and lightheadedness. This was all according to the court filing. I don't think my English mind can comprehend what's going on here. Drugging your wife? Pretty common. Banging your wife's daughter? Less common, but I've seen it on Jeremy Kyle. But the combo mixed, and also you bring a similarly aged 30-year-old friend along to stove in your mum's 69-year-old husband whilst wearing your mum's lingerie, that's uniquely vomit-inducing. Congratulations, America. Too thick to set fires properly? That's about right. According to the New York Post, footage shows how a bungling arsonist got instant karma by setting himself alight as he tried to torch a UK corner shop. The clip showed how 3 men charged into Zaff's Go Local store at around 5:40 PM before they poured fuel on the floor and set it alight. But CCTV showed how one of the bungling attackers, who was holding a canister of petrol, accidentally set themselves on fire. And further footage taken outside the premises showed how the thug struggled to extinguish the blaze as they ran away with their 2 accomplices. The owner, who wanted to be known as Zaff, said his 2 brothers were manning the Manchester shop at the time of the attack. He said he had no enemies and did not know who was behind it, but believed far-right thugs could be responsible. Oh no, Jeff. Oh no. Oh, help me, face is on fire. Good, hope it hurts. But despite the damage to his store, Zaff was relieved that no one had been injured in the attack, except of course the attackers. Zaff said the store's floor, ceiling and fridges were all damaged in the attack, which he said has caused around £15,000 worth of damage. But the store has reopened, and detectives from North Manchester CID are investigating. Inquiries are ongoing, but no arrests have been made so far. It can't be that hard to find the perpetrators, surely. Just look in the local A&E department for the lad with the fake Adidas trackie and the balaclava welded to his skin. There can only be a couple of dozen fitting that description most nights. Someone's pissed off their accountant. According to WLBT, Wave and Grey News, police in Kentucky are looking for a man who has defecated on the same porch multiple times over the past week for no apparent reason. Louisville Metro Police say they've received 3 police reports about the alleged porch pooper, who's since gained lots of attention online after doorbell videos of him have been posted on Reddit and Instagram. The homeowner, who did not want to be identified, said he first noticed something was up on Tuesday. He said, "I went out to my front porch that morning and noticed what I thought was cat poop." He then cleaned it up, checked his Nest doorbell camera, and that's when he realised it certainly wasn't a cat. Not only did he defecate, but he also urinated on our welcome mat. Or why his porch specifically is being targeted. He said, "I have no idea. We're good neighbours. We keep to ourselves. We behave ourselves. I can't imagine anyone would want to do this kind of retribution." The homeowner said the alleged porch pooper has visited his home numerous times, and he tried to confront him on one of his latest visits. But by the time he made it to the front door, the man had already run off. The homeowner said, "I'm relieved that he's not violent or he's not trying to force entry. He's just doing his deed. But it's very disconcerting and disturbing. If you can't beat them, join them. Start a mucky website where you exclusively show doorbell cams of one specific lad crapping on a doorstep. There's a market out there for everyone. Just look at 2 Girls, 1 Cup. Me circa 2007 still did the deed." Yeah, but how else will you get the food to taste so good? According to the BBC, a pub has been closed after inspectors found multiple food hygiene problems, including a food handler who was observed repeatedly scratching his bottom. The Bull's Head in Denbigh, Derbyshire, was told to improve its procedures following the inspection, including an instruction that food handlers must not repeatedly touch or scratch their backsides. The pub group, which owns the public house, said it had since closed the premises and removed the former landlady. And a spokesperson for the WJS group said, "We have now recruited a couple to take on the Bull's Head and will fully comply with environmental health procedures." The The inspection report, addressed to the former landlady, states, "Your food handler, unnamed person, scratched his backside through his shorts several times, touched his face and dirty equipment, but failed to wash his hand after touching those items. This may lead to contamination of food." The report further said, "If there is an issue that causes repeated bottom scratching, that food handler must not work in the kitchen until the problem is resolved so that they do not repeatedly touch their bottom." This environmental health visit was made unannounced on the 23rd of July. The visit was to check progress following a previous food hygiene inspection. The officer wrote in a letter to the woman, "When I informed you that food production must stop, you told me several times to leave and threatened that if I did not leave, you would call the police and have me removed from the premises. I reminded you that I was carrying out my duties in accordance with food law and that I was authorised to do so." Other problems in the inspection included prawns being left to defrost on a sink drainer and being exposed to contamination, for example by the flies in the premises, several food items being past their use-by date or mouldy, food handlers not washing their hands, the woman in charge rinsing her hands under a tap and then wiping them on her dress, the only cleaning cloth provided being a tea towel, which looked dirty and smelled of dirt/mould, the same tea towel being used to wipe food preparation surfaces, clean and also dry hands. This is a big list. Food cooking and food storage areas and equipment being left dirty, raw meat being stored on top of salad and half an uncovered melon, food including milk, raw meat and potatoes being stored on the floor, and sinks, hand basins, taps, doors, door handles and equipment being dirty. A bit of Ringgold never hurt anyone. We've all probably eaten unhygienically prepared food several times. I mean, I've often looked at hot dog stands and thought, I wonder how many types of diphtheria are lurking in those buns. Here's my honourable mention. Here's a story that just didn't quite make the curdy-cut. Authorities in Malaysia have called off a search into finding a woman who fell into an 8-metre sinkhole. Early on in the search, they found a pair of slippers, but despite sending loads of divers into essentially a pipe full of Liz Truss, they found now after 8 days. One of the firefighters said, "When going down in the hole, it was really scary. But this is indeed the duty of a firefighter. We have to overcome the fear and surrender to God." So not a night out at the shisha bar then. They're investigating the cause of this and other sinkholes in the area, and so far putting it down to a combo of human factors and climate change. TLDR, it's our fault. Bit depressing, sorry. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe if you do so fancy. Also, if you think there's any news that we might have missed, please get in contact on the email in the description below. Please also check out our news sources down there in the description, because they're the real news and I just play at it. I've got my teleprompter and I hope for the best. See you next time from the jam-packed news you might have missed. Wah! Stay gravy.